Alright, here it is. My brand new used 2015 WRX. This is a beautiful blue color. Of course, I had to get the blue one. We're going to go over the interior, exterior, what I think about both, and what type of modifications we should do to this thing in this video. So let's go ahead and get started with the exterior first. In this video, we are going to start with installing all the accessories on a rebuilt F820 through every mod, cosmetic and performance mods that we added to this stock WRX to gain over 100 horsepower. Here we go. So here's the all cleaned up F820 back from the shop. Now this has literally like everything taken off of it for the most part. Pretty much entirely bare long block. So there was some stuff that we sent the engine over, like these were all on there when we sent it over. They took them off and then sent them back separately. So we're going to figure out where that stuff goes and then work backwards from there, just installing everything onto this long block. So we're going to be installing Cobb 3-port boost control solenoid on this is a 2015 WRX, the premium. So The old one sits right here. We kind of
Snapped the old one in half.
so it's gone already. But there was a plug going into it. It had a thing that stuck in here and then two screws that held it in there. So we have that one removed and off. The new one is going to be installed like this. Alright, so this is the Subaru Redline carbon fiber intake plus the access port we're going to be installing today on a 2015 WRX. So we have the
CHIHUAHUA.
the intake and the access port, also a new turbo inlet pipe as well. Alright, so today we're installing new Action Fab F-Spec struts on a 2015 WRX. The first thing you're going to want to do is set them up so you have the ride height you want. Now what I'm doing is they provide this chart here. Max ride height in the front is for the F-Spec 15.5. In the rear, max height in the rear is 16 inches. Oh, I'm sorry, it's 15.625 for the F-Spec. And that is down from the stock, which they give you up here. So it's going to be a quarter inch lower if you have it maxed out from the stock in the front, and was that 3/8 down from 3/8 of an inch down from the stock rear height in the rear if you have the rear maxed out. Then it gives you how many millimeters of thread you need to achieve those ride heights. So I'm going to go with the max ride height in the rear, and then I'm just going to take it down a little bit. Max ride height in the front, so it's still a quarter inch difference between the rear and the front. So it's going to be the 55 millimeters of thread space in the rear. I'll show you what that looks like. And then also it's going to be about 91, 92 millimeters of thread in the front to get us a half inch lower than in the rear. So here's the strut. Now this space right here from the top or the bottom of this red locking piece to the top of this one is your thread height. This is the rear strut max height that I wanted to use. I wanted to use max height, which was 55 millimeters. So this is 55 millimeters between the top here and the bottom there. They also want you to set preload. So how to set the preload on the strut is you unscrew this top piece all the way down until there's no pressure on the strip spring, and you'll see this leave the bottom of the spring. Tighten it back up to the bottom of the spring. Tighten this piece up to the bottom of that piece. And then go ahead and tighten this top piece up 4 millimeters up, compressing the spring, that 4 millimeters. Then go ahead and screw this bottom piece back up to the top piece, locking it in place there with 4 millimeters of compression on the spring. And that's how much compression on the spring you want when you're first putting it in your car. From there, you adjust the bottom based off of how many millimeters you need for your ride height. So I set that preload first, and then I changed this bottom piece so that I had the 55 millimeters of thread, which gives me that maximum ride height I was looking for. And you do that for all your struts going in, and then you can just go ahead and install them like a normal strut from there. Alright, today we're going to be installing some Rek Gen Mudflaps on 2015 WRX. It came with all the parts you need. plenty of screws and washers in here, and also QR code for instructions. So this video will basically be following the instructions they provide. Today we're going to be installing this Vortex generator on this 2015 WRX.
What are you doing today, Josh?
Today we're putting this $120 piece of plastic right here. We almost went with the carbon fiber. We're already
$4,000 in debt.
guys. No carbon fiber. Today we're installing the MBRP exhaust on 2015 WRX. It's not S209, it's just a WRX. So the first step, jack up your car. What we did is we just jacked under here and have our jack stands placed between the two notches. That works well for us. Before you do anything, you're going to want to spray all the bolts you're going to be touching with penetrating oil. There's not that a whole lot. There's going to be some right under the mufflers, and there's also going to be some right at the catalytic converter, because this is a Catback, so it's going to start there and come all the way back. Alright, so here we are removing those bolts from the muffler, and we've come to the conclusion they're completely rusted and rounded. There's no way getting any of them off. Other than that one, we did get off. So we're just gonna
chop it off.
here's a
Sawzall.
and we're gonna cut these off.